Experience as a teacher. Teaching mathematics at the Victoria School now and charge with the standard level mathematics. And I will share with you just this small baby detail about the less able in the math class. I think that the majority of lectures have been addressed to how to deal with some softwares or web-based platforms that might help students and teachers to go through the mathematics programs, but we're not focusing actually in this population that we have in schools, struggling mostly all the time with mathematics. And I just found out a couple of tweaks through my experience that maybe will be helpful for all of us. Then, before to start these, I have to gather some information about you. For example, all mathematicians. Do we have anybody here? Brilliant. IT teachers, you? Non-math related subjects. Kind of science. Elementary teacher. Okay.
But I'm a mother of a disabled math student.
Okay, brilliant. So, math. Okay. English. Lisa.
Philosophy.
Math and English preschool teacher.
History.
History. Oh, brilliant. Well, we're not going to take any history tapes on this, but, well, so I want to share with you, this is a map that I made just for me. So I'm going to be guided by this paper in the major thing. But this is for you. Then this lecture is not about, it's a philosophy of education, it's not addressed to that. I'm not intended to just provide you with some magic recipes to solve all the problems. This lecture is not about that. What it's about is one simple thing, is one very simplistic method that might help students who are struggling with mathematics. That's all about. Then I will start this introducing what I do in a school, what are the programs about, and how do we start identifying some specific candidates that will match this description. And maybe in your schools you will have the chance to use maybe the checklist to identify one or two of these candidates that will match the one of the less able candidates in mathematics. Well, all is this about migration. So we are trying to help students to migrate from one stage to another. And in this IB program, we have divided that in three major things. It's PYP, which is the primary years program, and then we migrate to middle years programs, and in the end, for 2 years, they are going to be immersed in the diploma program. But this is basically the thing that we take the kids through a journey, migrating from PYP to MYP to DP. In some of the programs like IGCSE, who is addressing IGCSE here? AP?
GCSE, maybe.
Okay, brilliant. So we have some other levels here, which is addressed to core and all that. But, in this process, till they have some refined attributes here that are math related, we are producing tens or hundreds of students struggling all the time. Maybe they are not failing badly as we expect, but they certainly struggle with many of the concepts. Then, before to jump to the next, I want to point out one thing, is that mathematics is not about numbers, actually. What is about patterns, and how to identify patterns, and how to symbolize patterns, and then how to generalize patterns. That's math. itself. So that's the core of all that, the backbone, the soul and the spirit of it, is how to recognize patterns, how to symbolize, represent them, and that's it. Now, they are struggling always during all this journey because of one simple, small, baby, little tiny detail, and you will see that later on. The aim of all that is just to promote sort of independence. We want them to be independent learners, so that, well, that teacher is just at a second row in the classroom and in their lives, actually. We are going to provide them with some elements so that we want these basically in the program. Choose our candidates become independent learners. Then what is the basic thing here? This is the basic model of what we have. In the PYP, they require a lot from teacher guidance, and the level of independence that they might have is a bit small. That certainly requires some guidance. In the NYP program, this will be reduced dramatically, and that might be shocking for students. And here in this transition from PYP to NYP, let's say 8th grade here, we will have all the casualties in our bottom. So the idea is to reduce that because actually this is in red because the number of casualties that we have in the DP program are huge. So there are many students that are struggling with this mathematics because they lack this sort of independence, and they still require this portion of guidance from teachers. So here in this process, we have to identify which are the characteristics of a pupil considered to be underachieving. So how can we identify such a situation in a kid? What might be the first indicator for that, and evidence of it?
The grades.
The grades. What else? In class dynamic, what might be?
Attitudes.
Well, yes. Avoidance.
Not completing work.
Misbehavior might be.
Misbehavior, that's it. What else? Then, have you perceived that maybe the situation is worse and well, time is progressing, and then he's going to be in a situation that maybe, yes, I start just struggling with that, I give up and need some help, and it is maybe too late, then, well, there is this, we all know that, how to identify these underachievers. From this checklist, well, we have to use this way really carefully, but if 5 or more are ticked from this checklist, then we might have our candidate struggling with it. So basically, you see, it's not passing this trimester. You see lots of potential that, come on, your grades are quite poor. Lack of concentration, so you see all the time just not going around, daydreaming, clowning. These two things, well, you actually know how to do that. What to do then? Well, the theory might suggest this, okay? So that might be real world related, a wide range of approaches, just for you, but then I want to point out on this. Schultz and highly structured tests. Right, so this one will be one of the cores of what you're going to see next. Well, here, one of these are the one in in which we are going to use some bullet points, which is a magnificent help for students. But all the thing is how to use this ICT in order to help these kids. So we have to provide some opportunities for this in order to help the students 24 hours. We are not present at the moment with the student all the time, during all the day, but then we can provide that sort of support if we use the ICTs. Well, in the case of the school, could be a solution for that, could be by using these two things. The school might provide a learning support center, quite expensive for school. Not all the institutions will have the money and the logistics to set up these type of things. External acts like tutorings and all that, quite expensive in terms of money for students and families. No way. What's the only one is that we have to tackle the problem in the classroom. All right? But as we mentioned by the beginning of all this, is that maybe we're not going to have the time to do it. But let's see. How do we do that? How do we do that? But I'm referring to how do we do that in the Victoria School? Yeah. Then this is what I want to share with you now. Well, we have these basic things that in which we support all what we do. Well, if you're addressing the IGCSE, you well know this, my iMath. Are you using that in the school?
We do have it,
Yes? Yeah. Brilliant. One part of Millennium Mathematics Project in Cambridge University, in a way. This is part of this Millennium Mathematics Project, which is called Enrich and PLOS magazine. And this spectacular thing, which is the Wolfram Demonstration Project. Well, these are the elements of the ICTs that we use at the Victoria School. How do we integrate them? Well, because, well, we can be provided with many links and websites and, oh, fantastic, the lecture. We can collect that by just sending an email. How do we integrate that in the classroom? All right. The first step that is use that in the planner. We just found out that if we can just collect the thing and provide the students with a very detailed plan on which they are going to work during the term, they will succeed actually, and we will reduce the number of students struggling with the major concepts during the term. I have put here one sample of our scheme of work, right? Then, well, we provide this information in detail for the students. Then this one is for standard level mathematics, I think. Well, December this year, the last days, because today is the last day of the term, so we just did this one. Okay, we just covered this topic, just differential calculus, and we were just addressing the chain rule in how to get the derivatives of a given function when it's a compositional function. Raise your hand if this is mandatory the last one. Okay, look, we provide these instructions, well, for the whole community. So parents, students, and the whole community will have access to this information. They know day by day what they're going to do. These specific things are the ones that I just addressed as refined attributes. Reflection, thinking, transfer, communication. What is that? Well, we're expecting our students to be capable and skilled on just using the information they have, apply that, this is transfer problem, and then, well, reflect on the possibility of obtaining a sort of wrong results that are not matching with the observations. Maybe something is not going right with the model they just. How well do they communicate with it? And well, some thinking strategies that they are effectively using. Then take a look here in these objectives and activities. We just found out that if we can train our students in preparing the lesson before to attend the class, will dramatically change the whole dynamics of the lesson. That might be the small, very baby, tiny detail that will change them. What is basically then the heart of that? How do we articulate that in what we do? Look what, well, it's a bit blurred, but I just took an excerpt of the textbook, which is absolutely dry, heavy, abstract for the students. So, but anyways, we just suggest them to read the pages before they come to class. Then we'll find this is mathematical studies, Cirrito. You're not using that textbook there? Yes. So in that book, they will find this dry, well, not friendly user reading. Obviously, I mean, this is Chinese. Then what they will do next is just, well, either just keep on crying or just figure out what to do then, because I haven't decrypted what is written here. What do I do next? Because of what I've shown you before, now we have these four things actually. I just opened previously one thing here, which is still loading there. I'm cursed by now, I think. And what do we have then? Once we get on my iMath, then we have to struggle with this. How to use my iMath not as the core of the lesson, but as an opportunity for the kid just to review the procedural approach to the lesson. Remember that, well, what we want actually is to prove in mathematics, to recognize the pattern. We're not going to be focused on procedures and following algorithms. What we really want is that our students are going to deal and struggle with the processes, procedures, and algorithms at the first stage, in the first encounter, the first solo reading, confront that with textbook, try to do something with the textbook that is suggested in the planning, and then come to class with some specific questions in which what part of that process was not clear, and then we can go straight on the concept. Because it's the concept the key idea. The heart of that is just allow them to have that solo encounter with that cryptic reading, and then find the next possibilities using my iMath. That here is not loaded yet. Well, so I have this version of what the interface of my iMath is. Well, some of you are quite familiar with that, but in that case, they will find a step-by-step lesson, providing the approach with the algorithmic approach. It's just dealing with the processes. So it's a step-by-step solution, just following the recipe. So that it's not rocket science just to follow a recipe. Just identifying some key concepts, what to do, what to transpose, what to eliminate, what to substitute, and the work is done. But the math lesson shouldn't be like that. So, and the less able are always struggling because they are confused. They strongly believe that because they don't understand this part, they are not good at math. But one thing is the concept, the other one is the procedural mistake, that awful answer that did not show up by the end of the exercise. But then, well, what are we going to do then? We have now this jump on the key idea of this. The first solo contact, that one which is scripted, is the one that will provide the open door for the kid. It might have then, this is a risk actually. It's a risk in terms of that might produce sorts of frustration with the student, or that will produce an ultimate negative response, which is just to abandon the original quest. So we have to deal with this really carefully. And my suggestion is that before to start, just by assigning the solo readings, we have to do something previous. Something previous is what I'm going to show you. Here we have the Millennium Mathematics Project of Cambridge University. This is an awarded initiative of Her Majesty that it promotes basically mathematics. It's a concern of the UK about the generations of mathematicians that have been lost. So this initiative is planning just to recover the spirit of math in the UK. But now we're going to take an advantage of it. Here there is an explanation of what is that about, but we have basically the first encounter here, which is the core of what I want you to start using. Well, this Enrich website contains challenging problems. That mathematics is actually about solving issues, recognizing the patterns that we have in the given problem. So this is arranged in topics by levels. Then what are we going to do? Is to reduce the number of less able during the whole school life. Suggesting then for the early years is that kids have the rights in their fingers. If mathematics is not done by hands, I mean, they need to touch things. They need to, the manipulatives as a must. If mathematics is addressed without the manipulatives in the early stages, they are like being taught in complete dark. There is a necessity, a complete must, a need of teaching this but using manipulatives. At those first stages, try to force them to migrate from symbols into abstractions is a disaster. You won't obtain really good results unless you balance the lesson having a really good hands-on activities. But something that they might count, something that they might move, cut, and paste. If their hands won't touch those quantities, I mean, that has, well, our underachievers are going to be produced here at these first two stages. So let's see, enriching math. The idea of having these independent learners start with developing what we used to call an inquiry-based approach. our kids should develop that attribute, becoming inquirers. And that sort of attribute is really actually refined in later years. It's not possible to obtain that unless you guide the whole process. Then let's take a look of the first part. Let's say we're going to take this not primary here, not, and it will take ages then to upload. I haven't uploaded this one yet. Well, fantastic. And in the meantime, let's see the next. Well, why is this support the key to help these less able kids? Well, in the case of MyAliMath, which is the platform that we actually use to manage the whole curriculum, well, it's comprehensive. It goes from the first level to the superior level. It has a wide range of the scope of all the curriculum of mathematics in the school. They will provide 24 hours access for students. This is step by step, so well, just in case of an emergency of a last minute change in his work or her work, it will have access to that, and then the last minute check just to change that small single detail that did not see by the very beginning of the work. And well, it uses widely that algorithmic approach, which it will take that work from the math teacher, put it aside, just in a huge portion, and then allow the mathematics to flow to the core of that, which is, well, migrate to the generalizations. How to generalize, how to prove, how to model in mathematics. The core is that one. So in the first stage, we have to approach the thing, oh, we had it. There is no way here. Okay. So let's see. In the meantime, what is the part that in the articulation plays a significant role? Metacognition in the process. Well, obviously, we cannot just place all the amount of work of mathematics in the web-based curriculum that we have now, just to enrich what we're doing in school. Does not make any sense. Just allow them to go there and solve some exercises, and that's it. The problem is this. Obviously, the ones which are the gifted one on the range of the average students will go and flow on their own. We are not going to have any inconvenience with them. But the problem is, this set of less able students, then in that time that we gain just moving from the algorithmic approach just to allow them to explore on their own, have the solo sessions, prepare the class before, well, we have to be with the less able, the ones which are struggling with the concept, is to help them with that time that the others will provide the teacher, is for the less able students. So this is the process that basically we have to help them to develop. Is, well, before attending the lesson, this is the first part that requires training in the lesson due to the fact that they are always avoiding responsibilities, not doing with this, just not completing the work, poorly done, and not meeting any of the high stakes that the teachers have set. And so we have to be with them all the time. Then this. Now, how do we do that if they are at home and we are kilometers away from students? Well, basically, it's just before they leave, we have to be with them to explore in general slightly what they have to do, make sure that they understand what is the path that they have to follow in the website, and then just let them ready for the reading in the textbook and using the website. During the class, we have to make sure that these kids are going to take high quality class notes. Many of them are just a mess in that notebook. They do not complete the work. All the exercises are half away from the expected outcome. If they are expected to submit homework, is poorly finished, not neatly worked, is, well, a complete mess. And after that, well, in the Victoria School, we're using my iMath and in some other schools too. So we have this online homework, the worksheets, the task sheets, and also the projects. This is an evidence of the level of achievement or understanding that they have reached at that point. This one is fantastic because in my iMath you have well, the feedback straight on, no way. It's not possible. Okay, we have finally uploaded. Then, front in here, just to close this. The process now is when the kids struggling with it, so we must well guide them in the process of cognition. But basically, allow them just to refine this process here, and then once they're completed, so we will see the positive results on it later on. So let's see. This is well, one small sample of what Enrich website contains. It requires from you just to explore that one and identify which of the topics or the problems are attached to the ones that you are addressing in the term. Basically, you will identify the level of complexity of this one by these small stars. So it means really easy. If 2 stars, so it requires a bit more of skills, and if it has these 3 stars, means that it's not that evident, and that might be you're not going to start obviously using a 3 stars problem. But by the very beginning, just like it is a catching problem by the beginning of the lesson, so we can address these type of things using the 1-star problems. So we can give them a chance to succeed and gain a bit more confidence on their work. This is particularly frustrating sometimes when we address a problem using cards, and they're expected to solve the problem and then submit the solution and share their findings, when the strugglers are always providing a simplistic, he's 4 by guessing, not any particular work noted in that. So, you won't have any inconvenience here because once you click in the problem, you will see also the solution of that attached to the problem. Okay, so you have access to the whole archive with the corresponding solutions of all the problems, and are organized by topics. So there are like 50,000 and counting, because they have weekly problem, monthly problem, and people around the world are submitting, students are submitting their solutions. So basically, we have this part here. Now that it says history, well, I usually use this with students, especially the ones which are struggling with math, because they don't like it first, they have been struggling with it mostly, and I mean, they see it as useless knowledge. I mean, for what am I learning quadratic equation, George? I mean, I'm not going to the supermarket saying ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, so what can I obtain from it? Well, no way, that's the wrong question. This magazine provides a wide, magnificent range of applications in mathematics. And in particular, you have to explore that and decide which of the topics are the ones most suitable for you as an introductory material for your students, just to grasp their attention and address it to something specific, to see exactly how math is used, because they don't see the point, ever. These guys have been struggling with it, so they're quite reluctant to any mathematical idea at all. They certainly wouldn't see it, ever. So what we do is just to attach the link, set up homework or a classwork or a small project in which they have to visit the page, find the article, write down a very small summary, link that with some ideas previously attached, then present a sort of possible problem that could be solved and worked by using this or that knowledge that you were just covering during the term. Here, also, look, besides the latest news, you will have access to the archive, in which you shouldn't click here, otherwise it will take ages. And also careers. People are professionals, which math component of careers is the major part. So they will offer a sort of explanation and illustration of how their careers are and why mathematics is important to them. And in their jobs, if they have some finding a specific address in mathematics, so they will have it straight on. That's basically the part that will provide a complement on it. For all the other things, especially this one, contains, and let's see, we have, we're lucky now that we're here. Okay. Finally, okay. So that's then, well, this is part of Mathematic, which is the software to do mathematics, and belongs to Stephen Wolfram, which is a physicist that have designed all these 15, 20 years ago. So it has like 3 components. One is the software called Mathematica, that is used to develop scientific research. The other one is this Wolfram demonstrations to help to teach mathematics. And the third component is called the Wolfram Alpha project. That is an idea of how to democratize the knowledge. So it's providing knowledge to everybody, open, free access, so that the problem is what to do with knowledge, but because the problem now is not how to produce knowledge. So this guy provides these beautiful and quite useful tools to teach some very complex mathematical ideas. So you have the opportunity to start on this one. You download the player. Unfortunately, this is not working now, but it provides a way to see some quite interesting interactive presentations here. So it's extremely powerful. I truly apologize about the inconvenience with this internet connection. Look, I haven't learned it yet. For God's sake. Look, to close the idea of all this is once we provide this opportunities for checks and understanding of vocabulary. That is one thing that the less able will enjoy in a moment. When they have the opportunity to express their perception, ideas, and methods of solutions of many of the problems you're interested in. Well, we might use logs. I have placed as sort of very quick guide on how to produce a blog using Logger. So it's included in the folder in memory. But the idea of this is these are keys. Just keep all the instructions simple and short. The simpler instruction is, the more effective will be with the pupils, especially with those kids struggling with it. Okay? Well, so I have to close this with the kids. I'm really sorry about the inconvenience of this. This connection is absolutely awful. Let's see. Yes, that's it. Well, questions in the end?
The Wolfram project, is it a free website?
Yes, it's a free website. The only one that is paid is My Island.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that that one will help you just to upload all the class, and you can create quizzes and assignments of all kinds, but all the others are for free. No questions at all? Okay. So you're free now. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Good evening.